Hello, good afternoon. This is Kelly from Kelly's Coffee and Crime Chat, and Happy New Year, everybody. It is January 2nd. I am still fighting this horrible virus that I had before Christmas. So I might be coughing, I might be clearing my throat, and I'm so sorry if I end up having a horrible coughing. I'm gonna have to stop it. So, I hope I don't have to do that. But I am drinking Java Mama tea, and this is the hot tea cocoa mint to be, and it's got peppermint leaves in it and cocoa, and very yummy. And it's very good. It's almost like a dessert tea. It has caffeine, and that's the big reason I'm drinking it, because of my throat. And I wanted a Java Mama tea this morning rather than the usual. I'm not up to drinking coffee yet. I've tried. It's very hard for me. I don't know why. I don't know if it's my throat or what it is, but I finally got the nerve up to do a recording of the first one in January, and this will be for my early access for my Patreon Spotify premium subscribers, even though I do not have any Spotify premium subscribers at the moment. So it's going to be up for Patreon and early access. So I'll probably go ahead and release it tomorrow on the main podcast. So my sources for this: the Columbus Dispatch Online, CBSNews.com, and Web of Lies Season 2, Episode 13, which is on ID and also on Max. I'm so sorry. Okay, Grace Dillman and Robert Best. Now, Robert Best, I'm going to start with Robert Best. He is from Ellensburg, Washington. That's Washington State. His mother gave him up right after she had him. So his father had him, raised him. His name was Lee, and he remarried when Robert was 9 months old. Now, his wife, Robert's stepmother, would cheat on Lee and take Robert with her when he was a baby, when he was just a kid. So she'd meet up with these guys and just take him with her. So, Robert's father, Lee, found out, and he went, excuse me, he found out about it, found out where they were, and beat up the guy. Well, he went to jail for it. So Robert had to live with his grandmother, and this was outside of town, away from his friends, and it was kind of like on a ranch, a farm ranch. So he didn't have anybody around him, and so of course he takes to the internet, which a lot of people do, even adults. Excuse me, I gotta take a drink of tea. Just a second. Gosh, I'm trying to hold the phone away from me when I do this. I don't have my mic hooked up. I'm resting my ribs. The coughing has aggravated my ribs and that were cracked, and oh gosh. So I know I've had a lot of physical problems here lately. So he takes to the internet, and here he is. He's 15 years old at this time, and he starts playing a game. You know how kids will get into the violent video games, and his name on there was Elemental Evil. Well, while he's playing, a message pops up from someone named Ice Princess. She is from Columbus, Ohio. Her name is Grace, and she's 16 years old. Well, they connected right away. She became his main focus. He had nothing else that mattered. She was the one that he always wanted to get on and talk to her every day. His grades started going down, and he wasn't doing anything else but texting and talking to her. So it sounds to me like he didn't really have any other friends or anything, at least not that I had found out. Now, Lee, his father, had been released from jail around this time, and he worked a construction job, so Robert remained with his grandmother. His dad would stop in Well, sorry, it's my handwriting again. So sorry. His dad stepped in about the texting and his grades, and he wanted him to better himself. So he told him, you got to start getting better grades. You don't want to end up like me. You don't want to end up like me. And you want, the construction I work, breaks your body down faster. You want a job where you can use your head, basically. Get a college education, use your head. Don't use your body so much that it breaks you down, basically. So, Robert starts opening up to Grace and telling her about his dad and the family troubles that they have. And a year later, Grace ends up telling Robert she's not 16. She's 13. And he's like, oh, so you were 12 when I met you and all this started. And you were 12. And then he was not crazy about this. So when he turned 16, his dad helped him build a truck. Now, build the engine. He got kind of educated in mechanics and how to build an engine and how to fix vehicles. So he got it running. And he had a girlfriend, but it ended during this time. And he was still chatting with Grace, who also had a guy. But get this. She had this guy, this boyfriend, and Robert's like asking her questions about him and stuff, and how's things going on with him and blah, blah, blah. Well, come to find out, there was no guy. The guy was him. That makes no sense to me. It's like, why say you have another boyfriend when the boyfriend's Robert? Unless you're just, I didn't get that. Unless you're making up a boyfriend that does not exist just to, make him jealous, I guess. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. Excuse me. So, she told him she loved him. He responded the same. Now, these two have never met, but they love each other. I know they probably don't know what real love is when you meet online. At least I don't know how you can love somebody that, I don't know, that you never met in person. That's just my opinion. Now, the obsession became worse. April of 2012, Robert was 18 and Grace was 14. So, it had been 3 years since they met online. So, 3 years. Their parents have no idea about this relationship. They have none. Either parent does not know. Well, Tracy and Alan Dillman married in 1985, Grace's parents. They both worked in the medical field, and Grace also has an older brother. So that's kind of her background. Her dad is very strict and real big on going to church, which I will probably talk about a little bit later in this. Excuse me, I had to get a drink. I'm drinking my water and the tea. Now, Robert tries to get into Ohio Tech in Cleveland, and the reason why he's trying to get into a college in Ohio is to go see Grace. He asked his dad if he could apply because it's the top school, and it would train him. The training is awesome to get a job. Really good training. And his dad said, well, sure, why not? I mean, this is a good school. So, yeah. So, he let him apply, of course. And Robert drove from Washington State to Cleveland. And this is after the school year. So, he drove to Cleveland, and this is a week's drive, which I didn't know that was a week. I mean, I guess if you stop a lot, it would be. Instead of going straight through. But October 2010, Grace told her parents she met a guy on a cruise. So now the guy, of course, is Robert. This was a story she cooked up. I don't know where this cruise happened. I don't know if the family took one or she took one. Now her family was pretty wealthy. They had a really big home, nice home. She was homeschooled, and she did not have many friends from this because she was homeschooled. Parents were strict. Attended church regularly, and her father was very, very known in the town, which everybody knew him. He was well respected in the town. But even during Sunday dinner, they couldn't even talk during Sunday dinner. Now, this is according to the episode on Web of Lies. They couldn't even talk. She would like try to bring something up and ask her parents something. It's like, nope, Sunday dinner is silent. Okay, dinner to me, that's when you talk to your family. So, I don't know. But anyway, Robert shows up at the church and meets Grace's dad. Now, her dad was not going to let him see her because of his age. She was way too old. So he just shows up, meets the dad. The dad says, nope, you are not, going to see my daughter. You're too old for her, which I understand. Now, in my opinion, I think he could have at least been a little bit more cordial to him and maybe even gotten to know him a little bit. Because he was a hardworking kid. Now, Grace was a minor, though, at this time. And he actually threatened to call the police. It's like, without getting to know him and knowing the circumstances and knowing, it was like, boom, calling the police. I'm calling the police if you come near her. So, he did not go to police about it. Because he did go to the police, but no crime had occurred. All they did was chat online. Nothing had happened. So he could not press charges against this kid. So Robert stayed away from Grace and remained at college. They didn't have contact for a year. Until, all of a sudden, Ice Princess contacts him out of the blue. She used a friend's phone. And they start talking regularly and Skyping, which is like FaceTime. Now, her dad must have been monitoring, her mom and dad must have been monitoring her phone. Excuse me, or not letting her have one. Because she would use a friend's phone. So Grace let him in on a secret. She told him her dad was sexually abusing her and her mom was hitting her. Beating her up. Now, Robert's grandmother had been a victim of this. So he knew all about it, and it really hit him hard. It was like a trigger for him. He wanted to run away with her, but she was afraid they'd find her. So she suggested, if I can talk, to get rid of them because they deserved it, in her words. And his words, I guess. So Grace said that they would not believe her because her dad was so well respected. They did not contact police because of this. Now, contact police if you're being abused right now. I'm saying this right now. Because even if your parents find out, at least you are contacting them. You're doing everything you can. But there's also another reason she didn't contact police. It wasn't just because her dad was so well respected. Now, on June 12th of 2012, Grace recorded the interior of her house and walked through the instructions on where to go and how to get inside, etc., etc., how to turn off the alarm that they had, alarm system, and so that Robert would know what to do. Oh, my gosh. So he started driving at midnight to go to the Dillmans. So it was the morning of 2 a.m. on June 13th, 2012, he arrives at their house. He leaves his car about a quarter mile away, walks through the woods. Of course, curiosity gets me, and I looked at the map to see, exactly where all this was. And there is woods, across the street from them, and I think behind them. There's, woods all around this area. It's a real nice neighborhood that they lived in. So he leaves his car a quarter mile away, walks through the woods. He turned off the alarm of her house when he entered the house. He went to her bedroom, and this is where they first met in person. They talked for a little while, and he went to her parents' bedroom. Her father was to go first. So Robert stood watching Alan. Stood there watching him, and then he just left. He had a knife with him. He went back to her room and told Grace he couldn't do it. She said this was the only way and manipulated him into doing it. Don't you love me? You've got to do this. Well, he said he needed a bigger knife for one thing. So they went to the kitchen and they got a steak knife. At first it looked like from the episode I watched on Web of Lies that he had like a straight razor with him. But anyway, and they grabbed the blanket. And I forgot what the blanket was for. I don't know if it was because I didn't understand why they took a blanket. But anyway, they went with him. She went with him back to their bedroom. Well, the blanket had brushed up against Alan's leg and woke him up. So Robert started stabbing him right away. And he kept asking him why. I mean, there was like a scuffle between them. And he kept asking Alan, why did you molest her? Why did you molest her? And he's like, that's not true. She lied about it. Surprise, you know? So she lies about it. Her mom, of course, woke up in the middle of all this and is screaming. And Robert told her mom to call the police, call 911. And he started helping her father. He started doing, like, I don't know how he was doing it. He was trying to stop the bleeding and trying to help her father live. Now, this all took place in Gahanna, Ohio. And that was the neighborhood that they lived in, if I'm saying that right. So, because I had forgot to mention the name of it. But, it's G-A and then Hannah, H-A-N-N-A. Robert was handcuffed when the police got there. They took him outside. Grace was not showing any emotion. She said Robert was not her boyfriend. They said, is he your boyfriend? Oh, not really. Oh, no. So Robert was interviewed and told them the whole truth. Grace, on the other hand, would not talk about it. But instead she started talking about her surroundings. Like, this water tastes so good. And, oh, look at this table. And blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, nothing about her parents, what led up to it. Nothing about Robert. They were trying to get the motive here. And Robert did say he still loved her. Now, Alan Dillman did survive. So he did live, thank goodness. But Robert got 8 years. Conspiracy of attempted murder and assault. So it went down to assault because Alan lived. Excuse me. Grace, this is what really made me mad. She put this whole plan in motion. Even when Robert said he couldn't do it, she told him, you have to do it. She only got 2-year probation with an 8-year suspended sentence. 2-year probation with psychiatric help. That's what she got. 2-year probation. Are you kidding me? I mean, that makes no sense. Now, 8 years suspended sentence mean if she violates this 2-year probation, she has to serve her 8 years. That's what that means. So, that's what happened in this whole thing. And I did some research on my own with Alan Dillman and Tracy, and it seems to me like they moved to Florida not long after this. I didn't get much more information on them. Excuse me. Oh, this is so irritating. So I didn't find out any more information on them, like if they still talk to Grace, what their relationship is with her. I never got that. And I really did some, research of my own to try to find out. But I couldn't. So that is the story. Of Grace Dillman and Robert Best. And I'm so sorry for all this coughing and hacking. But I wanted to get an episode out so bad. Especially now that it's the new year. And I went to 2 weeks on my podcast. So, I wanted to do this and get this out. And I really wanted to get one out for Patreon, which I'm going to be working on. But my throat has got to get better before I have a big case in mind. And I also have a new podcast, Kelly's Coffee and Movie Chat. I've only got one episode up right now. Right now it's only on Spotify. But I'm thinking about getting some more of those out as well. Movie reviews episodes I can do pretty quick. They're pretty short, so I can talk about them not as much into detail because I don't like to give away spoilers. But anyway, I also have not been able to find out if Robert Best is out. I keep trying to find his release date when he's out because 8 years he should be out by now, and I have not been able to find anything out on him. Oh my gosh, it's like I wish I could find more information on them. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I do have some shout outs and some recommendations. I just started watching, and I think I talked about this before, the new Dexter. You can stream it on Paramount Plus with Showtime, or it's also on Showtime. But it is the original sin, and man, is it good. Because it's about him when he's younger and how all of this started. I'm a big Dexter fan, and it is very good. It drops on Fridays, and then I think on Showtime, it drops on Friday on Paramount Plus with Showtime, and then on the actual Showtime, I think it drops on Sundays, if I'm not mistaken. So I've been watching that. I haven't been watching really much of anything else brand new. I've been going back and rewatching some things I got back into at An Unexpected Killer on Peacock, I think that is. Very good series. So I also wanted to shout out a brand new podcast. If anybody ever listened to the Gore Report, that was one of my top favorite podcasts, and it is now finished, but there is a new podcast up from Gage, and it is called, from the host, and it is called The Dark Corners. One episode is up right now, so look that up. It's a very good, it's hard to listen to, let me tell you. It's brutal, it's hard to listen to, but look for some more. If this one's really hard to listen to for you, keep that one in mind and look for some future episodes, because I can't wait for some of his future episodes, because I really like his voice and I like his reporting. He does really good with that. So, but it is up now, first episode, and I'm looking for some other ones. I've been listening to, of course, my favorite ones, Coffee and Crime Couple, True Crime Couple, Death Do Us Part, and I got to get caught up on them from Chicago. So I've been listening to, Brutal Boozy and Bizarre. Brutal. I always get that mixed up. That's another good one. Love, Marry, Kill, still listening. Nosy Bees, still listening. So I'm still listening to all of my favorite podcasts. I'm just kind of behind right now. I should be up to date now that I'm homesick. But I go back to work Monday, so my time is going to be going down again. I thought I was going to have more time instead of getting sick like I have been, but I just wanted to talk about that. And I was trying to remember if there's anything else I was going to talk about, but we stayed home on New Year's Eve, stayed in, watched movies, had Chinese food, and that's what we did. So, like I said, I do have the Kelly's Coffee and Movie Chat just started, and right now only on Spotify, because I'm trying to figure out how to get it on other platforms, but right now it's on Spotify. And I hope everybody has a wonderful new year, and that this one will be better than 2024, and have a great one, everybody. I will leave all the links in the show notes if you need to get a hold of me for anything, and any suggestions, just throw them my way, and I will see you on the podcast. Have a good one, everybody. See you next time.